Okay, we're installing the Xbox 360 rapid fire mod on the wireless white controller for the Xbox. Anyways, one of the things you want to do is before opening is go ahead and put some duct tape over these buttons. That way they don't fall out when you pull off the top cover. Anyways, the screws underneath, I already took out 6, so I'm taking out the final 7th. It takes a Torx number 9 security. And I bought this tool at Harbor Freight. It's about $5. So anyways, now with all 7 screws out, you're going to pull off the top cover. It should just lift right off. I put my fingers on these gray buttons to keep the board down. Anyways, here's the kit right here. Here's the rapid fire mod right here. And okay, so we take the magnet that comes in with your kit, and that goes on top of the shock sensor on this motor thing with that counterweight. So it sticks right to that metal, of course. So you're basically just placing it on the top part, and then spin the motor to make sure it stays. It's in a good spot there. Anyways, the other part of this mod is remove that little rubber mat there. We're going to solder these 2 wires to the middle and the top. There's 3 points right here. Underneath there is the semi-automatic switch or something to the trigger. But I'm going to just solder, so let me get my soldering iron right here. I'm going to solder one in the middle. These wires are pre-tinned, so basically you just touch right to it and solder it in. And also make sure, some people have been having problems. I think they're getting solder on the lower button. So when you do solder, make sure, with a magnifying glass or something, make sure you're not making the wires touch the other part. So you just want one on the middle and one on the top. Basically just touch it real quick with a hot soldering iron. That's about it. Anyways, I've already cut a groove here. You could use a small rotary file or a rat tail file. That's just so the wire can run through here. So anyways, this remote is ready to close up. Just put your button pad back in. It's right over where you took it out. Okay, and to put the top back on, it's a little tricky. You have to line things up. But anyways, set this in here. It's a little easier. These motors here tend to fall down and stuff, so they'll give you a lot of problems. Anyways, just be patient, and you should be able to get the top cover back on. It's probably the hardest part of this procedure, doing this mod. Anyways, so just kind of line it all up, squish it down. You might have to move the motors with a little screwdriver. And that's about it. It snaps in. So I'll go ahead and put the screws back in here. Anyways, what I'm going to show you is now the installation of the switch and the sensor. I'm going to just use one screw to get this back together. You could also take the duct tape off now at this point. Anyways, the switch and sensor. There's 2-sided tape on here. So just kind of paste that down where the spot you like it for one of your bottom fingers, where you're going to push that. And the top sensor. See, the magnet I put in here is in this lower left corner, so your sensor is going to be probably about right there. It will pick up, and there's 2-sided tape, so you peel the piece off. So if you just place it right about there, it should miss your hand, and that way it will react. And you got to leave the vibrate mode on when you're doing your rapid fire mod and stuff. So I'll move this switch around and find a good spot that I like, and then after that, these little wires, you can just push them down. Okay, so anyways, now I have the sensor roughly where I want it, and I put the switch where I feel most comfortable with. So the wire, like I said, you just kind of push on it for a while and get it down to a nice good spot. Anyways, this remote, we'll take it to the TV right now. When you push just that button, it will do the rapid fire immediately. You could do this with semi or just hold the button for fully automatic. I had to move this a couple of times. So this 2-sided tape, you have a few minutes. When you stick it on, don't push it down real hard. Just move it around and find a good spot for it, and you're going to test it at the TV. So let's go ahead and go to the TV now. Okay, so now we're here with the controller with the mod on at the TV with the game on. So let me show you what it does. Okay, we're going to get a handgun. Okay.